Throughout my college years, when I was studying to become a dietitian, the word starvation came across a lot, and we learned about it. And of course, you're afraid of fasting when you learn about starvation from that point of view. And then I did my internship at a hospital for 10 months, working with doctors and nurses, and it was incredible. And the word starvation, of course, gets thrown around a lot too. So of course, when I first learned about fasting, of course I had a little bit of fear, a little bit of confusion as to, will this actually be helpful? Will this be beneficial? And luckily, after becoming a registered dietitian, when I finished all my studies, my internship, I passed the test. That was about the time that I was diagnosed with celiac. So I started studying a lot. And I went more towards the holistic health approach, because I realized that what I was learning wasn't truly helping me. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong, what's good or bad. I'm just sharing my experience. It wasn't helping me heal. So I looked for more answers. I wanted to go deeper, because I knew that no one was going to care about my health more than this guy. I can't expect a doctor to care more about my health than myself. So I started diving deeper into a lot of things. And the more I learned about fasting, intermittent fasting, the more that I wanted to try it out. And then when I tried it out, I was like, wow, I do feel better. I do see all these improvements. I do see all these changes. I do feel and experience all this healing going on. So what's the deal with this fasting versus starvation battle going on in the media and stuff? So I just came across something that I wanted to share with you, which is the difference between fasting and starvation. And something I didn't know, the word, what's it called? Inanition. Inanition, I think that's how it's pronounced. Which technically means emptiness. So inanition would cover the whole period of abstinence from food. And then you have fasting and starvation, which I think it's a very important distinction, and maybe not everyone's gonna agree, I get it, but the idea is that fasting is a period of abstinence from the omission of the first meal to, which I think is very fascinating, to the recurrence of hunger. So from the moment that you decide to omit the first meal to the moment where you first feel hunger. Of course, you have to get through maybe those first 2 or 3 days or 4 or whatever of hunger until you get into that fasted state where you're in ketosis and you're starting to heal. So I'm talking about longer fasts. And then starvation is the period of abstinence from food. Let me just make sure I get it right. Yeah, from the point where hunger returns to death. So that's starvation, which most people agree that when hunger returns, that's when you should stop a fast. That's the sign your body's giving you that it's time to stop the fast. So from that period on, that's what starvation is. So I just wanted to share that, and I know people are gonna disagree. I know that. But what I want to share from my point of view, from my heart, is that just because something's very different than what you learned doesn't mean there's not some truth behind it. Just because something challenges a belief that you have had your whole entire life doesn't mean that it couldn't be beneficial. Believe me, I went through my whole educational period believing that fasting was bad, that it was starvation. The more I learn about it, the more I try, the more I realize that's not the truth. The body can adapt. So I've had to put aside my, I don't know how to express it, like put aside my ego of like, I want to be right. I went through a long period of studying to become a professional in the nutrition field. And now you're telling me that what I learned, that what I used to teach might not be the truth. So I had to kind of let go of that ego, I guess. So I just invite you to be open-minded and be open to the idea that maybe fasting and starvation are very different things. Maybe a lot of food companies don't want you to do a little more fasting because it's not beneficial to them. And I'm not going to get into a whole conspiracy theory because I know a lot of people don't like that, and that's okay. I'm not asking you to believe what I believe. I'm just inviting you to be more open-minded. So what if fasting and starvation are two different things? What if that period of fasting, which is from the time you stop, omit your first meal to the time that hunger returns, what if that's beneficial? So what if one of these is beneficial and the other one is not? I'm going to be sharing a lot more on this with you, but I wanted to start there. So a lot more coming. Have a beautiful day.